joining us now. Shelly Palmer, CEO of the Palmer Group. We're getting a sense, aren't we, right now about the scale of the damage, what might have caused it, but we're also learning how long it takes to fix because it inevitably creates a huge backlog.
Yes, it absolutely does. Well, look, about 6.5 million users were affected by this, over 1 million in the United States alone. And as you said, the airlines, Ring and Alexa, Coinbase, Robinhood, Zoom, just an enormous number of companies because everybody hosts, about 30% of companies host at AWS. It's Amazon Web Services, for those of you who don't recognize what AWS is. It's not the Amazon you shop from, although it is the same company. What happened was the domain name system, or the DNS, got corrupted some way. And that's basically the phone book to the internet. And when you don't have your DNS in good shape, you can't find websites. And that's exactly what happened. No one could find websites. The data was fine. It wasn't a terrorist attack. It was a technical glitch at Amazon. And it takes a while for the DNS servers, once they're back up, to propagate all over the internet. So it could take a few hours. It's not going to take more than 24 hours, but it's in a few hours, most of these sites will be back up. Amazon found the problem. They mitigated it. But it basically shows that we are very vulnerable to very small glitches in computer software. And this is a big wake-up call for people who were watching the store.
Yeah, because they rely on it completely, don't they? It used to be a backup system for people. Now it's their primary system. There's no backup to the backup, is there?
Well, in this case, the data was fine. What happened is the index that takes the name of a website like shellypalmer.com and translate it into the 3.3.3.3, 123.123, like the actual web address, that phone book that translates the name of a website to the numerical representation of the website, that's what got corrupted. And it should have been backed up. But what happens is when that server goes down, you can't find the website. When they put it back up, it takes a while for that information to go propagate around the whole internet again. And so that's the issue. It's a vulnerability for sure. It wasn't a terrorist attack. It was just a technical glitch.
Yeah, but if imagine it was, I mean, what we've seen here is a possibility that you can take down most of the internet with a simple corruption.
Yes, that's exactly right. Look, if you remember back when CrowdStrike had an issue, slightly different issue, it was over $5 billion worth of damage back then to Fortune 500 companies. We are more vulnerable than we believe. And I think this should serve as a wake-up call. What's the cliche? Security is a lot like oxygen. You don't really think about it till you don't have any. This is one of those things where, hey, we're doing just fine. And then you wake up in the morning and it's not just fine. And so, yes, there are things that they could do to prevent and to also mitigate against and to back up, to have more resilient systems. And I think this is one of those cases where it wasn't done. Will it be done? It's a good question for us to be asking when there are no problems. Like, this is a question we should have a follow-up on in 3 or 4 months. Hey, Amazon, how'd you do?
Yeah, Richard Quest is talking about everyone. Well, he says he uses hard drives as backups now. He prints things off. Is that the advice?
No, in fact, that's really not what happened here. The data was fine. Amazon backs up data left, right, sideways, upside down, every way you can back up data. By the way, it's good advice to have a thumb drive with your most precious documents. It's very good advice to back up your data. But let's not confuse these two things. This was web access and app access. It was not data corruption. It wasn't in any way someone stealing your backups or no, it was none of that. This was just the way we access the internet. It's a very big vulnerability that we've now learned about, but it has nothing to do with your data. Richard Quest, though, is 100% right. Whenever you can, at least once a month, take the things that you definitely do not want to lose and put them on a thumb drive or a hard drive that you keep locally, that's connected to your computer and not connected to the outside world. That is very good advice, but it wouldn't have solved the thing here today. Nobody lost access.
It would have done, though, wouldn't it,
Nobody
during the outage? You know, because you can't get your stuff during the outage.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. But most of the documents that are online through these services are dynamic, right? These are systems like Slack, where you're not backing up your chat and being able to then chat, right? So the airline, you couldn't back up the airline reservation system. You just couldn't get to
Yeah.
it. So
Yeah.
the backup would not have changed the outcome here, but it's good advice to back up everything. It's just that wouldn't have solved today's problem unless you were trying to get your will off of your cloud-based hard drive. That would have been a problem. But yeah, those are it's subtle and unfortunately a little more complicated than everybody likes to deal with. We got to call Jeff Bezos and say, hey Jeff, fix this.
Yeah, fix it. I'm sure he will now. They've probably lost a lot of money. Shelley, thank you so much.